Hello and welcome to today's video. So, today, we're talking about the Overwatch World Cup. Now, I know on the channel we talk a lot about the Overwatch League in the past, 5 months? Really since February we started doing a lot of power ranking type videos, things like that. So, we talk about some Overwatch League things, but today we're talking about the Overwatch World Cup. And the team roster for South Korea got announced, and I wanted to talk about it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not sure how many players are actually allowed on a team, because this year has 12, but I'm not sure if that's the final roster. Like, these are the 12 players that are on it, but let's see. Can we find out? I feel like it's 12. Overwatch World Cup. Let's see. By the way, so I picked the 2018 rosters. Does that tell us? Oh, can we look at roster limit? Maybe. Yeah. So either way, I picked the South Korean team. I like South Korea. You can see in the background. Wearing Seoul Dynasty hat. My kitten is named Seoul. So it makes sense. I like South Korea. And I'm not really a fan of the American team. I'm not really root for America in a lot of different things. I don't really know why. But I don't. The only way that I was going to root for America would be if I got picked to do social media, which I was trying to get endorsed to do. I didn't get the role, so obviously I can root for South Korea, because I can't really work for a team and then root for another team. But either way, we're going to talk about the players here on the South Korean team. And obviously this here says what team they are on the Overwatch League, because all 12 of them are on Overwatch League teams. So one team stands out in particular. So, up first we have Sabiolby from the New York Excelsior. Sabiolby is crazy. He's actually my favorite player in the Overwatch League. The things he does on Tracer is just insane. Like, he plays Tracer so well. It's so good to see him on the team. That definitely will help the team. And there's nobody better on Tracer than the ones that are here on the list. Nobody on the team is better than him on Tracer. And he can play the Widowmaker really well, along with other players on his team. He's like the third best Widowmaker on New York Excelsior, and he's really good. Next up is Libero. I believe he plays a lot of Pharah on the New York Excelsior. That's what I see him on all the times. But I think he can also play the Widow as well. And he's their other guy. He actually plays a lot with Sabiolby, so to have both of them in there, keep that team chemistry from the Excelsior with their main DPS, and you're really good in that part, because they're already play together. The only time they don't play together is when Sabiolby gets subbed out for Pine. But for the most part, it's Sabiolby and Libero playing together. Next up is Carpe from the Philadelphia Fusion. He's crazy as well. I mean, all these players are crazy in their own way, but he's crazy on the Widowmaker. And he can also play other characters, so I think that's why they picked him. I mean, they could have picked Pine if they wanted a good Widow, but Pine is sort of exclusive on the characters he plays. I think Carpe can probably play more of whatever he wants, or he's got a little bit more flexibility. So Carpe is honestly part of, or a majority of the reason why the Philadelphia Fusion are in the playoffs in the Overwatch League in general. He kind of carries that team lots of times. If he pops off, there's a chance they're going to win. And the final player here for DPS is Fleta from Seoul Dynasty. The only Seoul Dynasty player here on the team. Obviously, Seoul didn't have that good of a season, so I'm sure they used a lot of the Overwatch League to pick their players, and Fleta was one of the only good players on the team from the season. So, from later in the season. In the beginning of the season, they were all wild, but later on. So he's good on the Widow as well. So they got a lot of players that are good on Widowmaker. Obviously, I'm assuming Widowmaker will still be good in the Overwatch World Cup, just like it is in the Overwatch League, just like she is in the Overwatch League. I'm not sure. I assume since this is happening in August that Hammond or Wrecking Ball, whatever you want to call him, will be in the Overwatch World Cup. Assumably, and Symmetra will be playable. Not sure if anyone's going to play the Symmetra changes, but either way, those are two things that are not in Overwatch right now, at least in competitive, that are assumably going to be playable in August. So that's the thing. Those players there. Now we come to the tanks. I don't remember which one plays main tank and off tank. Either way, Fate from the Los Angeles Valiant is first. I think he plays main tank. I think. Maybe wrong. We can actually look this up. Hold up. Players. Let's see what he does. Fate, right? He just plays tank. What about... Who else do we have? I think this one. It doesn't tell you, like, if they're main tank or an off tank. Thought it would. Oh, no, it does. It does. It does. Okay. So who else do we have? Yeah. Okay. So this does say. So they have 3 main tanks and 1 off tank. So Fate is a main tank. They also have Meko and Fissure, who were both also main tanks. I assume they probably play Fissure the most because he's wild on Winston. Like, honestly, Fissure should be one of the main people that are talked about in the conversation for MVP. He left London Spitfire, went to the Los Angeles Gladiators, and put them in the playoffs. Now, I know he doesn't like when people say that. I know that was a thing. He's like, as a team, so they improved. But honestly, when he was not there, the Gladiators were trash. He showed up, and they were really good. So, they also have Meko here from New York Excelsior. He's also really good main tank. Obviously, most of the players here are from the New York Excelsior. So, that's saying something about that team. But Meko, also very good. And, again, I don't remember which one they all play. Like, which characters they all play. So, that's why I can't really say. But I think it'll be Fissure and also Fury here from the London Spitfire, because he can play the off tank. So, you'll have Fissure on, like, the Reinhardt and the Winston. Fury can play D.Va, Roadhog, Zara. And I assume Hammond will be there. I guess. It depends on how viable Hammond is. If he's more of a map-specific character or not. That's something we don't know yet. If Hammond is very specific to maps that he swings around on things, if that's his main thing, then you might not see him as much. But if Hammond is viable on, like, every map, like D.Va, and yeah, like D.Va's like the main off tank that is viable on every map. There's not really a map that you can say D.Va's not viable here. So it depends on how Hammond is. If he's more map specific like Zara, or if he's more just any map works, we'll see. The final thing here is the support, and I guess you can just say healers for the South Korean team. They have Arc, who I believe plays a lot of Widowmaker, Mercy for the New York Excelsior. And they also have Onimo, who does the same thing. I think they can also both play Lucio pretty well. So you got Arc and Onimo, you can switch them in and out when needed. And obviously that's what the Excelsior do. They play Arc for a little bit, and then they switch in Onimo. They also have Jonak here. That's big. Jonak, obviously one of the best players in the Overwatch League on the New York Excelsior. Jonak is wild on Zenyatta. He'll flank around as Zenyatta. He's like doing more damage than Sabiobi and Libero do, and they're obviously the DPS. So Jonak does everything. Healing, damage, like he's outputting so much damage. And also, if you need another healer, you need a Moira. Jonak can go there for you, I believe. So, people were saying, why isn't Ray J Hong in here? I think because Jonak is here. Ray J Hong's really good. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite players in the league as well. But you got Jonak. So, that's that. Because Ray J Hong was one of the best Zenyatta players, and Jonak wanted to play like him. But then he sort of surpassed him in the Overwatch League. Last one here is Kareev from the Los Angeles Valiant. I don't know what he plays, honestly. I couldn't tell you. He's like the one player in here that I have no idea what he plays. Like, I knew the other players, like, I didn't know what tank they played. But, yeah. I have no idea. He probably plays, like, Mercy or something. Maybe he plays Brigitte a little bit. That's another thing. Brigitte is very, important here. Actually, no, Sabiobi can play Brigitte pretty well. Looking at the team. Brigitte is one of those characters that doesn't always fit the role, you know. You could have one of your tank players, your off tank. You might want to switch out a D.Va for a Brigitte. Or you might switch out your main tank for a Brigitte. Honestly, you can not have a Winston. Or you can not have a Reinhardt and you can have a Brigitte. I know when I played some matches, obviously it's different. When I played some matches, we had somebody playing D.Va, and then I was playing Brigitte, so we didn't really have a main tank, but we had a Brigitte, and it still worked. And honestly, you can have a DPS play Brigitte. Doesn't really matter. Brigitte just does all-around things. So you get some of that healing, you get a lot of that damage. But it'll be interesting. Seems like a good team. Sabiobi, Librio, Carpe, Fleta, Fate, Meko, Fissure, Fury, Arc, Jonak, Animo, and Kareev. It seems like the Korean team is going to be very, very good. Now, I'm not sure if they have to have only 6 players, or if they have to have, or if they can have 12. That's the thing. I'm not sure. I haven't really watched the Overwatch League World Cup before, so I don't know the rules of it exactly. I'd assume it'd be 12, just like the Overwatch League. But it might also be 8 like Contenders. Because no Contenders, that's 8 playable people. Players, whatever. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if it's 8 or 12. Because I know it's not 6. I know it's not 6. Also, I think the coach for the Korean team is the coach of the Excelsior. So, yeah. You got the New York Excelsior here, basically. With some added players. Because you have 2 DPS from the Excelsior, 1 tank, 3 support. Yeah. Half the team is the Excelsior. And then you got 1 from Seoul, 1 from Philadelphia, 1 from London, 2 from the Valiant, 1 from the Gladiators. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think this team is going to be really good. I'm super excited to watch the team play in a couple of months from now. Once the Overwatch League is over. These players don't really get much time off. The good thing for some of these players is that, actually I think they have to come back for the All-Star game, some of them, for the Overwatch League. But for the most part, a lot of these players, they can just go back home once the playoffs are over. They can stay home for a little bit because they've been in America since January, basically. They can just go back to Korea. And because Korea is actually one of the host countries for the World Cup. I forgot where is it. I think it's being hosted somewhere near Seoul. Believe. Yeah. I didn't even look it up. I remember that it is. It's somewhere around Seoul. I don't know if it's in Seoul, but actually it's not in Seoul, but it's somewhere around there. So yeah, that's that. Very, very interesting. And yeah, we'll see. See what happens. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll probably be back with more Overwatch World Cup things later on. Not really sure what we're going to do with that specifically, but we'll see. Yeah.